Welcome back to Forbidden Knowledge News. I'm your host, Chris Matthew. Tonight my guest is Lance Schuttler. Before I bring him on, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to Forbidden Knowledge News on lbry.tv, our official backup channel. We also have a brand new show called Beyond Classified. It's exclusively on Rokfin. Rokfin's an awesome new uncensored platform for free-thinking content creators, independent media. All of our regular Forbidden Knowledge News episodes are there as well. And finally, Forbidden Knowledge NewsCon 2021 is going to be held on Rokfin. This means that you can attend the entire conference, April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, which is next weekend, by the way, with 12 awesome presenters for only $10. You sign up for the 1 month for $10, you're going to get access to last year's conference, this year's conference, and all the amazing content from all the content creators on Rokfin. Just go to forbiddenknowledge.news to check out the lineup, see who's going to be presenting, and then go to rokfin.com to sign up. The link for that is also in the description. Tonight I want to welcome back to the show Lance Schuttler. He graduated from the University of Iowa with a bachelor's degree in health science and is the CEO and owner of EMF Harmonized, an electromagnetic field protection technology company that is dedicated to helping improve people's lives. He is also the co-founder of Ascent Nutrition, a unique holistic nutrition company. He is also a board member of Free Food Now, a nonprofit dedicated to helping people find free food at the time they need it and working towards achieving large-scale global food abundance for all. He's also a facilitator and collaborator of big ideas, visions, and projects that spark creative and healing solutions to complex challenges in our world. Lance, welcome back. How you doing tonight?
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate being back here, man. I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing good. Enjoyed our conversation last time. We discussed your amazing products from EMF Harmonized, which offers, protection for your cell phones, computers, routers, tablets. I got the awesome bracelet, offers the same protection. Tonight we're going to talk about the health supplements from your other company, Ascent Nutrition. You can click the link in the description, guys, to check out the website while we discuss what you have to offer. First, let's start with a little reminder for the audience about what got you involved with your health and wellness companies.
Yeah, so, I've really always kind of been into health and wellness in different ways. So when I was in high school, I was very active and just really super interested in sports and played all the sports and was into health in that sort of way, but didn't really understand nutrition at all, honestly, and didn't really focus on that at all either. But once I got to college, I met my roommate, and he was a bodybuilder at the time, and he was very, very focused on that, and he was very knowledgeable and good at what he did. And he really helped kind of guide me in some really good ways to understand basic nutrition and then also some other advanced nutrition, and also really how to live a lifestyle of wellness and health, sleeping well, drinking plenty of water, getting the good training and exercise in, and, limiting alcohol, limiting all the bad stuff that we don't want. And definitely also the supplements came into that as well. So since that time, I had studied physical therapy, I was studying chiropractic. I didn't really know which route I wanted to go. And then once I got to Iowa, the University of Iowa, after my first 2 years of school, then really started to hone in on health and wellness and holistic health and wellness, and started to learn a lot about diet and nutrition, and learning from doctors and practitioners online who really were experts in this field and weren't doing things the conventional medical route. My passion just took over from there, and I just really started digging in deep and learning as much as I could about this whole field.
Very good. And, we live in a world where our food, water, our air is deliberately poisoned. It's getting harder and harder to eat and live healthy. And I personally believe this is all by design to keep us sick, so they can sell us more pharmaceuticals, which keep us sick and keep the cycle going. Is that something that you agree with, that's basically the world we live in, is just to basically keep us sick? all designed around, not allowing us to be the natural humans that we're supposed to be, basically.
Yeah, I agree 100%, Chris. But it's very clear if a person takes time to look into it and really understands the mechanisms between big pharma, big ag, big tech, big media, all of it. It is one massive collusion to brainwash people and to keep people sick physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Going back, like one thing that really happened to me that really, this is the story that I tell people when they ask, like, what really got you into all this stuff and reading and researching? It was actually when I was in school. We were exposed to some information around AIDS and HIV. I'm kind of being a little vague with it because I don't want to get a certain teacher in trouble or a professor in trouble. But information was brought up to us that there's this book written called "Inventing the AIDS Virus?" ? Or actually no question mark. That was the course topic that we were talking about. But "Inventing the AIDS Virus," and it's written by Dr. Peter Duesberg, and I believe he was at either UCLA or Southern California. And he and his team provided conclusive and explosive evidence that the whole story of AIDS and HIV is a massive fraud.
It's amazing that you're saying that because my producer and roommate Cory, he is researching the same thing and basically he's coming to the same conclusions there.
If Cory hasn't read the book "Inventing the AIDS
I think
Virus,"
he has, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because it is phenomenal. And at the time, like I read this now 11 years ago, and I really came to the choice, and I think this is where we all have to, at some point in every different decision that we want to make, especially when we starting to uncover uncomfortable truths. It's you come to a fork in the road where you say, okay, I'm presented with this information that is very disturbing. I can choose to continue to look at it and continue to explore it and see what else I can learn about it. Or I can stop right here and just kind of forget that I came across this information and just kind of brush it off and, not really go here again. And most people, sadly, choose the route of comfortability and convenience. It's convenient to not know about these things. I think most people who do know about these things, we aren't like at the beginning, we aren't actively going out and trying to uncover all of these massive frauds and collusions. It's kind of like enough bells go off when we see information that it's like, oh, wow, there is so much more to the story. So I have to keep going. I have to keep looking because I know I'm being lied to. So, coming back around your question, yeah, we're definitely being poisoned and polluted, and everything is set up intentionally, and it's very sad. But I do think that things are changing, and that very good, massive changes are on the horizon. But it is also going to have to come from us. I think that there can be some good people in big, corporations and even government and military to take big action, but ultimately it has to be we the people. We have to wake up. We have to make choices to eat the way we want in a healthy way, and opt out of these systems that are keeping us stuck in every imaginable way.
I know we recently touched on this last time, but after years of ingesting these, poisonous foods, it has to be somewhat altering our DNA. After years of the same crap foods and whatever they're putting in the air and the water.
Yeah, for sure. And you look at what Monsanto has been doing with GMOs, and I mean that's a very good place for people to begin researching if they don't know about it. But I'm assuming most of the people listening to this do know about GMOs, genetically modified organisms, and Monsanto and Bill Gates' connection to it, the UN connection to it, the World Health Organization connection. So many lies and cover-ups have happened regarding Monsanto and the research. That's a whole separate episode in and of itself because of how deep that stuff goes. And I grew up and I live here in Iowa, and I have a lot of people who have been, essentially brainwashed by Monsanto in the schooling system. There's one particular state university here in Iowa State, and Monsanto, now Bayer, is funding most of the education that takes place regarding agriculture and everything related to it. So of course they're going to be getting fed information that is completely biased and not in a regenerative agriculture sort of way, but in this old model of we need to kill everything in the soil, and then we need to hybridize and create new forms of life, food, the GMO corn and soy, and then spray it with more pesticides and just continue the cycle and continue to create new breeds of it so that we can continue to patent it and make money off of it. It's just one cyclical, it's a sick cyclical system that needs to end.
Yeah, it definitely needs to end. It's a disgusting system, and we'd be much better off without it. Now let's talk about some of the supplements you offer at Ascent. Let's start with what you were mentioning before we started going here. You were talking about the pine pollen. What is the pine pollen, and what is that for?
Okay, so we'll show it right here. Pine pollen this is really how the company started, and I'll give the little backstory on that as well. So a friend of mine, Noah Olson, he's the co-owner of Ascent. He and I were standing in my kitchen one day, and we're both very into supplements and cutting edge foods and biohacking, neurohacking, all of it. And I was consuming this pine pollen from this company up in Canada, and I was telling him about it, and I gave him some, and he felt it immediately. And he said, wow, more people need to be taking this, and we need to get this in the hands of more people. We need to help humanity with this. And so we kind of came up with the idea, hey, we should start a supplement company around this. And that was like the main product. That's like our flagship product. Although now we have about 32, 33 different products on our site. This one was what started things off. But for health benefits, so pine pollen, it's the pollen that comes from the pine trees, all different species of pine. Like here in the North America, it's primarily around April to June is when that pollen is coming off the buds. And you can collect that, and it's actually a true superfood. Meaning it has all the nutrients that the human body needs, all the vitamins, minerals, amino acids. But most importantly, it is loaded. It's nature's highest source of these brassinosteroids, which these are plant hormones that mimic human hormones without actually taxing the adrenal system or the whole glandular system. So if you were to take like HGH or testosterone in and of itself, or DHEA, you can actually overtax your adrenals and the whole glandular system to start working out of sync, because it's getting these nutrients added in. However, with pine pollen, these brassinosteroids elicit the same effects as, say, like human testosterone or human DHEA, but it's not actually the exact same compound. It's very, very similar, but not the same, but still has the same beneficial effects within our physiology. So what that means in short is that when the hormonal system, when our hormones are balanced and optimized, then so much more in the body works well, especially the brain, especially detoxification, and just overall vitality in the body. if hormones get out of whack, it can be very, very detrimental for both men and women, to varying degrees. But this pine pollen really actually helps to balance and support healthy hormonal levels in multiple ways.
You mentioned earlier that it can affect the pineal gland. Was that correct?
Yeah, so it relates to the pineal gland in a couple different ways. So metaphorically or philosophically, um, you think of the pineal gland, and it's like they call it that because it's kind of like a pine cone, or it looks like the shape of a little pine cone. Um, and so if it's called the law of signatures. If you look in nature, you can see what these different plants do for different parts of the human body. So like walnuts, for example, we've all seen like a picture of a walnut and comparing it to a brain, and it looks very, very identical. Those walnuts are very beneficial for the brain, specifically because of the fatty acids in there, but also the magnesium and just other smaller micronutrients. But the pine cone representing to the pineal gland, specifically because of those hormones and also a few other things. So first, the DHEA, which is, they call it the euthine hormone. This is something that is phenomenal for the brain, and it actually helps the brain grow new neurons and repair damaged neurons. It is wonderful for that system of helping to repair the brain and just support overall brain health. But a couple other things is it's loaded in SOD, which is called superoxide dismutase, and people can look this up. Superoxide dismutase, it's the body's strongest internal antioxidant or free radical scavenger. And you can take SOD as a supplement, but the issue with taking SOD as like a capsule is that once you digest it, it'll get broken down and you can't really use it. But because this is in a liquid alcohol tincture, it goes directly in the bloodstream, and that SOD actually gets into the bloodstream and doesn't have to get digested. So it can elicit its beneficial effects. And specifically, it's great for detoxification in the brain and the liver. Also, the pine pollen is loaded in bioavailable glutathione, which is very similar to SOD. It's another free radical scavenger that detoxes the brain and the liver. Very, very beneficial for detoxification and just overall support of every system in the body. But furthermore, with like the philosophical angle, the Vatican, I think we've talked about this, they have a pine cone statue.
Yes.
Right there at St. Peter's Square, I believe it is, or St. Peter's Basilica. And there's a lot of theories around it. My personal belief, and I think a lot of people believe this as well, is that they have that there as their symbol to humanity that, hey, we know about the pineal gland and we control it through fluoridation, through the mind control media, and through EMFs, and through a lot of other avenues. So to me, it's like, okay, they're signaling that they control it. Well, let's offer the solution to it. Let's counter that spell, and let's use nature for what it's intended. Let's use the pine cone. Let's use the nutrients in the pine to help us and to help the pineal gland, because the pineal gland, it's a gland, and so it definitely operates around hormones and the secretion of hormones and other major physiological mechanisms. So let's use the nutrients in there to help balance that and support the pineal gland and the whole brain as well.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Who wouldn't want to? Who wouldn't want to have that?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's also talk about some of the things that you sent me that I've started taking, and they are high quality, awesome stuff. Let's start with the nootropic focus. It's for brain and memory, right?
Yeah. So the nootropic focus, it's again, yeah, just like you said, for brain focus, memory, but also like mood and happiness, because there's a very strong extract of St. John's wort in there. Some people listening will know that St. John's wort has been traditionally used for supporting mood, like especially during the like the winter season, but supporting mood, supporting outlook, supporting happiness, things like that. But there's more to that story, and like where the St. John's wort came from is like this plant. They call it St. John's wort because it's in reverence to St. John the Baptist, in that around the summer solstice, those St. John's wort, those bright yellow flowers will peak and come out and show that beauty of those flowers. And that's what would happen is the Greeks would harvest those flowers, pluck them off, and then place them on an altar for St. John the Baptist, and also just for they believed in spiritual protection with it as well, to help protect them from dark entities, dark spirits, things like that. Those bright, beautiful flowers, that light is, keeping that darkness at bay. And it's really interesting because you can look at modern scientific studies, and there's several out there showing how St. John's wort does indeed support mood, outlook, happiness, cognition, memory, focus, things like that. So again, it's kind of like the law of signatures, and nature has all the answers. It has all the solutions. It's right there. We just have to learn how to read and understand and interpret what nature is showing us and giving us.
Definitely.
Additionally, there's bacopa in there at a very strong standardized extract. So what that means is there's a couple compounds. One specific is called bacopicides, and these are the compounds that have really been studied in rigorous ways to elicit beneficial effects within the brain specifically. And it has a standardized 20%. So what that means is we can guarantee that there's of the 100 milligrams, 20 of those milligrams are those bacopicides. And that's a very potent, strong extract of that. But bacopa, similar to St. John's wort, in the East, bacopa has been used, so they call it Brahmi, which in Ayurveda pretty closely, but loosely translates to like God consciousness or spiritual consciousness, awakening consciousness, things like that. And it really actually helps to increase the communication between the left and right hemispheres of the brain. It helps to act as a vasodilator. So what that means is it's dilating the blood vessels in the brain. And so more oxygen can get there. And clearly, if we have more oxygen in the brain, we're going to be functioning much clearer and much better. So the combination of those two, there's something called huperzine A. The huperzine A is also in the nootropic focus, and that comes from Chinese club moss. And what that does is it acts on an enzyme called acetylcholine esterase, and that basically inhibits the breakdown of acetylcholine. So acetylcholine is the learning neurotransmitter, and when we have good, healthy levels of that, we're able to focus better, think clearly, do or complete tasks in a very time efficient manner. We can study well, we can learn things better, we have stronger memory, recall, so forth. And this huperzine A prevents the breakdown of that acetylcholine. So basically we have more acetylcholine in our system for a longer period of time, so we can accomplish more work or study longer, focus more, things like that. That's commonly used in nootropic blends and just brain stacks in general, but those three are in there, and it's like a really strong combination with those. We also have phosphatidylcholine, phosphatidylserine, DMAE, and then acetyl L-carnitine, which is also very potent for the brain and the nervous system in general. So it's a really strong combination to help support mood, memory, cognitive health, everything to do with brain health. But more specifically, again, philosophically, like I really believe that this thing really helps to shift someone's awareness or shift someone's consciousness because of that St. John's wort and because of the bacopa. Like those are two beautiful plants that really do have a strong impact, not only on the physical brain, but on the mind and on our emotions and, more than what we are as just the physical body.
And you also have coffee, organic, mold and mycotoxin free coffee. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we actually just launched that last night and we're like thrilled to be offering this because for so many reasons. But first, so coffee is the most sprayed plant in terms of pesticides in the world. Okay, so most coffee, if it's not organic or if it doesn't say it's pesticide free, it's sprayed with pesticides. And coffee as the second most consumed beverage in the world, so many people are poisoning themselves with coffee that is not clean. It's just not clean. So we actually intentionally sought out to find some of the world's cleanest coffee. And there's a few things that go into that. So first, it has to be organic. Ours is organic. And second, you want to be able to make the claim that it's mold and mycotoxin free. And to do that, the only real ethical way to do that, to make that claim, is to actually have it tested by a third-party lab. And so we did, and we got the results back, and it was squeaky clean. There was literally no presence whatsoever of the 12 major molds and mycotoxins, none at all. And so it's phenomenal stuff. It comes from Guatemala. It's harvested the right way. People making good wages, no slave labor involved, all of that. Very clean in every single way. And it tastes incredible. It's wonderful stuff. If someone likes coffee, give it a try because it is wonderful stuff. It's a medium roast. We've got more information on the website about it. A lot of questions that a person might have are answered there, but wonderful stuff. We're very excited about it. And we know it's going to do really well because, just like the whole ethos of this conversation, Chris, like, what can we do to unpoison ourselves or to not consume poisons? Well, we need to literally not consume poisons. And you need to look at what we're drinking, eating, surrounding ourselves with, all of it. So to me, if someone's drinking coffee, at minimum, it doesn't even have to be ours. Like, yes, I would love for you to try ours, but at minimum, purchase an organic coffee, because if it's not organic, it is being sprayed with pesticides and you are literally poisoning yourself. And there's no reason to do that. No reason when you know the information, that's where action has to step in. And, people need to make the choice to go an alternate route.
Yeah.
So
People get
very
stuck
excited.
in those ruts where they're just used to buying the same thing. You're used to doing the same thing, and they just keep poisoning themselves, basically.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
sad.
And, I didn't even really know this until, maybe a couple years ago, but that coffee, like I talked about earlier, coffee's the most sprayed plant in the world. And that is insane. I mean, it's just straight poison to, I mean, billions of people, which is mind blowing. So clean coffee, it's something that we're very proud of and very excited about.
Very cool. Here's another important one: the peak liver support. It's got biophotons, light and in brainwave support. Could you talk about that?
Yeah. So you said biophotons, and so specifically, there's a nutrient in there or an ingredient that it is an extract from organic spinach leaves, and it's actually the chloroplasts from those spinach leaves. Okay, so it's the light harvesting component within that plant. Okay, so it's literally taking free energy from the sun and converting it into chemical energy that we then consume. So just right there, I mean, that tells you what it is. It's a free energy machine that is capturing energy from the sun and converting it into the physical realm. So it's very powerful in that way. But relating this to mainstream science, though, that light is known as biophotons. It's light that interacts with our biology, and it shifts our physiology and biology. So specifically what that's doing is it's actually regenerating the entire pathway for glutathione. And again, glutathione is like one of the major internal free radical scavengers. So it's beneficial for detoxification in the brain and the liver. But what this means even further is that that light energy, they've shown that those biophotons are actually able to help to get a person's brain waves into the alpha state, because it's just energy, and the brain is operating off of energy and electricity. So when we have a good presence of biophotons, the brain can shift into the alpha state. And the alpha state, as you know, is focus, a calm alertness, wakefulness, and just really being able to accomplish a lot without being overstimulated or understimulated. So it's a very beneficial brainwave state to be in. It's kind of like the flow state, and those biophotons can help with that.
It also helps with detoxification.
Yes, because it's stimulating that glutathione, the whole pathway for glutathione regeneration. And so it's just very beneficial in a lot of different ways. But that product also has a 50% standardized extract of milk thistle. So that compound is called silymarin. And many people know that milk thistle is commonly used for liver detoxification and actually helps to support hormone balance in women. I know a few women who take that regularly, the milk thistle, to support them with like PMS and just the whole menstrual cycle, and it really helps them emotionally and physically. So detoxification for that's great. There's also dandelion in there, and we've got a couple enzymes in there as well. So it's a really unique combination. It sells extremely well for us. People really love it. I take it every day. And it's just powerful stuff.
And now I want to go over a few more products that you have that I've seen on your site. You have cleansing products. What type of cleansing products do you have?
So we've got a couple, but the one daily cleanse is just like a good overall, it's more of like a detoxification product. I mean, it is a cleansing product, so it will help keep you regular, but it's not one where, like, let's say you're constipated and you just pop it once and it's going to do the job. Now, it might help someone in that situation, but that's not what it's really designed for. It's really designed to just keep the bowels clean and just like a daily overall support for just healthy cleansing and healthy detoxification.
Cool. Okay. And what about you have something called a brain bundle. What's included in the brain bundle?
So we've got, I believe, seven different products in that brain bundle. We've got a lot of different bundles, and we've done this in a way because, with supplements and foods, a person really needs to be consistent with them, and they need to stick to them. It's not like a pharmaceutical where, like, you take it once and, it might do the trick for some people in some ways. But with supplements, typically a person has to take it at least for a few days or a few weeks, sometimes a few months, before they see, the really big changes that they're wanting to see. But again, this is going to be the way that nature intended, the way the body actually wants to help itself, is with foods and nutrients and not, fake synthetics. But the brain bundle, we just got several different products in there. The mushrooms, we've got the nootropic focus, we've got the peak gut health, which is really phenomenal. The gut, so much of the brain is tied to the gut. And so if you're supporting the gut health, then you are going to be directly supporting the brain as well. and turmeric's in there. I believe I said the mushrooms. We've got a lion's mane mushroom in that product, which is again also great for the brain. They call it the world's first smart mushroom, because it has such a cognitive enhancing effect on the brain. A lot of people use lion's mane, and it's really become popular over specifically the past 4 years, but it's been trending upwards for the past 10 years. It's really phenomenal stuff. Monks and those who meditate in the East have used this for a couple thousand years before they meditate, and just in general, because it actually strengthens the nervous system.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now you have products for sleep as well. Talk about those a bit.
Yeah. We've got the Happy and Healthy Sleep, and that is valerian, and then a few other herbs in there specific for just helping to promote healthy sleep, helping someone to unwind from their day, helping someone to get to sleep and stay asleep. We suggest taking one an hour before bed, and then one again at bed. Of course, a person can adjust that accordingly to their life, but that's typically what we recommend for people.
And one more I'd like to go over. What do you include in the intuition bundle?
So that's something that was sparked by someone who's actually promoting our products as well, Michael Jaco. He is a former Marine and former CIA guy who has created courses around developing one's intuition. Excuse me, because he was actually doing a remote viewing within the military, and he's very big on intuition and just developing one's mind to be able to remote view if they want, or just tap into their intuition more just for daily overall life. But the intuition bundle, we've got the peak gut health, because it is it's just so, again, it's once we address the digestive system in the gut, we're actually directly impacting the brain. And so we really want to focus on getting the gut good and clean, and making sure that it's working well, so that the brain can function optimally as well. And then we've got the mushrooms in there, I believe, and again with the lion's mane in there. And then I've actually forgotten the third one because we just created it. If you've got it pulled up there, Chris, we can take a look at it.
No, I don't have the website. Just have some
see.
notes that I took from it. But let's see.
No problem. I'll pull it up here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the nootropic focus, the peak liver support, and the peak gut health. I misspoke on the mushrooms. Just for all the reasons that we talked about. The nootropic focus because of the mood uplifting aspect, the cognitive supportive health enhancing aspect. We've got the peak gut health in there again for just supporting the overall gut and the brain, and the liver also for those biophotons, that light energy that helps us to detoxify and helps the brain waves get into that alpha state.
That's great. Yeah, these are great products. Everybody, just click the link in the description or go to goascentnutrition.com/forbidden to check out everything that they offer. I'd also like to talk a little bit more about EMF Harmonized. We talked about it last time, and some of the products you offer there. Now, for those that really aren't familiar with what we talked about last time, what are EMFs and what are the dangers that they pose to us?
So EMFs, electromagnetic fields or electromagnetic frequencies, and they're the frequencies that are coming off of the device that someone's using to watch this right now or to listen to this, and specifically phones, computers, laptops, tablets, routers, smart TVs, any smart devices, smart watches. It's the frequencies that are interacting with those cell towers or with the router in your home to be able to communicate and transfer data. But these frequencies have long been known to be very harmful to us in a lot of different ways. And, the establishment will not talk about this, and they'll actively cover it up because they don't, it's such a huge issue that they don't want to address it for a lot of different reasons. There's financial aspects they don't want to address it for. There's control aspects they don't want to talk about it in regards to, and those are really the big two ways: financially and control. Like we talked about earlier, keeping people sick and keeping people dumbed down. EMFs is absolutely one way that it's happening. There's, for people who might be not really believing what I'm saying about this, I'll say this, that if you look up an organization called the International EMF Scientists Appeal, you can find that it is 255 scientists from 45 countries around the world that are literally the world's top experts in electromagnetic fields. And the reason they are the top experts is because to even join this group, the scientist has to have had published a peer-reviewed study on the biological effects of EMF radiation. So the big thing is, why aren't we listening to these people in this group? They've appealed to the UN, they've appealed to the WHO, and it just falls on deaf ears. Not surprising, sadly, but these true experts are being deafened, and they're being silenced, which is sad. But they're out there, and you can find their work. They're very much against 5G. In more specifically, in that the studies need to be conducted first on 5G, because no studies have even been done, or very few, and they've all shown that it's very damaging to us. But again, big industry has no interest in talking about this because it disrupts their whole game. It's the stick in their spokes that they just want to pull it out so they can keep moving.
Right. And, I'm sure most of the audience is constantly around their cell phone or computer or routers or tablet, whatever you're using. You offer solutions for people who are constantly around these devices. Now, I have one on my cell phone. It's just a little disc. I have it on my router, on my computer. Man, I notice a difference. I spend all day near my computer because this is what I do for my job. I try to take a break as much as I can, but I feel so much less groggy after spending all day by my computer with this little disc on there. Even by my phone, I'm sleeping better at night. I have more focus. These things are amazing. Tell us a little bit about them, how they were made and how they work.
Yeah, well, first, that's awesome to hear that, Chris. I'm actually very happy to hear that you're feeling benefits from it, because that's what we want.
Yeah, definitely.
We want people to feel the benefits, because that's when you go from a skeptic to a believer, and that, hey, even if I can't really explain it, I know it's working. But I will explain the technology here and now. But basically, what it is it's some Tesla technology that he brought out back a long time ago, based around longitudinal scalar waves. And what we can do with those scalar waves is we can take certain frequencies that we know are beneficial to human physiology, and we can program them into the hologram, which is those discs that you just showed. It's actually a hologram, and those holograms will literally, right there, their frequencies within that hologram will actually interact with our DNA and create a physiological effect to where the ATP channel is not blocked up anymore, because EMFs, it's well established that EMFs clog the ATP mechanism or generation mechanism within the mitochondria. And so what the downstream effects of that are grogginess in the brain, grogginess in the body, fatigue, drowsiness, mental fog, things like that, because less oxygen is getting transported. what we've done is we can show that this technology actually helps to free that channel back up and literally helps the oxygen to flow. And we've proven this. You can look at the video on the website. We've proven it that our blood is actually changing. The physiology of the blood does change with these discs. I know a lot of people say, well, how can a disc do that? Yeah, exactly. How can a disc do that? It's insane. And I know that, but it's a very advanced technology that is actually creating a measurable physiological effect in the blood to help the body carry more oxygen and for it to function the way that it should, which is the free flowing generation of ATP, which is the chemical of life.
Now, is it the same, basically the same technology that's in the bracelets here?
Yes. The bracelet, yes, it's the same technology, but there's a few different frequencies. This will help some with EMF protection, but it's more so designed just for overall physiological wellness. So just helping physiology get back to homeostasis in a lot of different ways. So we call it like the EMF wellness wristband because it does help with EMFs and it does help just with overall wellness. And you can read the reviews that people have left, and I mean, people feel it. I'm really someone who's not that sensitive to EMFs, but I can tell you when I put this wristband on, I absolutely felt it. I felt it within a few minutes and I continue to feel it. You know, I do take it off at night just because for me it's a little energizing, but you know, I know some people do sleep with it and they sleep very well with it. It's really up to whatever a person wants to do, but yeah, it's programmed frequencies that are interacting with our physiology to create and elicit a beneficial response.
That's great. Yeah, they're amazing. Like I said, I've noticed a difference. I spend all day near my computer, and I used to feel really, really groggy. And now, I have more energy, and now I'm actually sleeping better. I'd have trouble sleeping after spending a long day, in front of my computer or around my phone. So yeah, these things are really amazing. And say you're out and about and you have your wristband, this would protect against any frequencies like outside of your home, while you're out and about somewhere.
Yeah, and again, the cell phone disc is going to be a little bit stronger, or quite a bit stronger, to be honest, but it will help protect from EMFs when you're out and about as well. It's just the cell phone disc specifically is going to be stronger than the wellness wristband.
Yeah, it's awesome products. And the website is emfharmonize.com / forbidden. Go and check out all the products there. Just click the link in the description. Before you head out, Lance, you also founded Master Shift Meditation and Prayer and Free Food Now. Could you tell us a little bit about those organizations before you head out?
Yeah, so I actually did not found them.
Okay.
I'm just on the board of them,
Oh, I
but
got you. Okay.
yeah, the Master Shift is uh, it's a very large Facebook page actually, an organization. They've got about 3 million people on their page, and they've helped to create mass meditations over the past 9 years, I believe. Just a wonderful organization. I know the person very well who started it, and she's a very good person. She knows about all the stuff that you talk about, everything that we talk about. She's very in tune with it. And right now, we're just on a little pause of where we're going with it. But what we have done in the past is organize mass meditations. Then Free Food Now, started by a friend of mine, and he is very focused, and I want to help him on this to end world hunger. And specifically, he wants to do this through connecting food banks and creating uh, an app that allows people to access food banks in a much more convenient way, and to help these food banks all share data so that they can collaborate and just make sure that things are running smoothly.
Awesome. Guys, go
Yeah.
check out those websites. Get yourself healthy right now. Protect yourself from those harmful frequencies. Lance, thank you so much again for coming on. Always fantastic information. And, of course, we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
All right. Until next time, everyone else, have an excellent evening.